And on to debate number 2. 4 days after he rammed into civilians with a Lamborghini supercar, Shivam Mishra was finally arrested by the Kanpur police. It appeared that the law was finally catching up with the VVIP brat. But unfortunately, that was not to be. It took over 80 hours for the Kanpur police to have him in their custody, but just a mere 7 hours for him to be released again. Would you believe it? He rammed into people with a Lamborghini vehicle that cost well above 8 crore rupees. But he was released on a personal bond of just 20,000 rupees. That's all it took to get Shivam Mishra out of the police's grip. The UP police had sought 14 days of judicial remand of Shivam Mishra, but the court did not agree to the request. During the remand hearing, the court claimed that there were procedural lapses in the arrest and hence the arrest cannot be treated as valid. The court also noted that a notice to be served as per section 35(3) of the BNS was not served during the arrest, and several guidelines laid down by the Supreme Court pertaining to arrest were not followed. And this really makes one wonder, was this just an arrest made for the namesake by the UP police in order to save its image? Will heads roll after the police botched an arrest procedure in such a high-profile case?
पुलिस द्वारा रिमांड मांगा गया था, उसको जेल भेजने के लिए कहा गया था। न्यायालय ने गिरफ्तारी का पर्पस पूछा, जो विवेचक नहीं बता पाया, जिस कारण उसका रिमांड खारिज कर दिया गया है। रिमांड खारिज करने के कारण अभियुक्त को छोड़ दिया गया है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 2 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Let's open this up and take it across to our panelists now. With us is Dr. Anand Rathan, author. Sanjay Sahai, former IPS officer, is with us. We have Lokesh Jindal, political analyst, who is with us. Subhash Jha is an advocate from Mumbai with us. Namit Saxena, advocate on record of the Supreme Court, is also with us. Subhash Jha, this is absolutely bizarre what is happening in Kanpur. First, you have a VVIP brat who the police does not act against. There is action that is taken on the SHO. You know, whether this person was drunk or not, we will never know, because his blood sample has not been taken for the last 4 days. He finally submits himself to the court, and now the court is pulling up the police. What on earth is going on in Kanpur?
Look here, I think the people are worried about grant of bail. I think that's the primary concern of people all around the country. But let us understand the legal position. See, the police, so far as our country is concerned, the police functioning of the police is always under cloud in every matter of investigation, and that's a matter of a really serious concern. Now, but so far as this case is concerned, the police has charged him for under 281, rash and negligent driving, 125 subsection 2, which is act endangering life or personal safety, and 324 subsection 4, which deals with mischief. And the maximum punishment prescribed under these provisions, the maximum punishment is 2 years under 324 subsection 4 of BNS. So therefore, please see the law as it is. The law is made by the Parliament. It's a central act. And therefore, the law seems to be against arrest.
No, can more stringent provisions not be brought in this case?
Law does not favor
Can more stringent provisions not be brought up in this case? And what is the message you're sending out? If you're a VVIP brat, you can buy up anyone in this country? The police will do as you want?
No.
You can evade arrest? The police stands at the doorstep of the mansion of this tobacco tycoon. They are not even allowed to meet the accused. What is going on? It's a mockery of justice. In city after city, these rich VVIP brats drive around the supercars, killing people, injuring them. What is the message being sent out? You tell me, Mr. Subhash Jha.
Howsoever condemnable the act may be, but then there has to be provision in the act. The act doesn't provide for to deal with this.
Okay, let me bring in the former IPS officer. Sanjay Sahai, there is nothing in our law that can be proceeded in this case. Is the law so weak in this country that brats can get away with it?
See, the punishment is not commensurate to the price of the car or the influence somebody wields or how rich or how poor is. As far as this particular case is concerned, they are bailable offences of less than 7 years, and it is the mandate, legal mandate as per the law, that in these cases there are not even arrests are required. and a notice has to be given, and that is where the judicial officer, in all his judgment, leave the police investigation aside. I'll give you at least 10 loopholes in the police investigation as far as this case is concerned. But the judicial officer, in his judgment, I think beyond this, he couldn't have gone. There are instances where things could have been different. One is if there was likelihood of this fellow fleeing away or with tampering of evidence, which the police has not been able to prove. If they were able to prove, and why the judge did not accept this, is primarily because police, there have been procedural lapses already by the police, number one. And number two, that the car was seized with the help of his family members. So the court, in its own wisdom, presumed or it believed that there is no tampering which is going to happen. This is broadly the legal position. And what is happening today, we are enraged over the fact that there is a rich brat who is doing it. But the point is, when the injury concerned is only as per this particular section, I don't think we can beyond that. There is no denying the fact that the nature of disgust with this particular accident, supposedly accident, is throwing up is one of its kind. And that also being in series of large number of other accidents or man-made accidents. So that is where we are, and this is the legal position. I can add on the number of inconsistencies which has happened so far in this particular case and in the earlier cases also.
No, but that's a question. And what I find absolutely amazing is that, the lawyer for the accused walks out, and Lokesh Jindal, you can come in on this. The lawyer for the accused walks out and says the judge questioned the police, including why he was arrested. No notice was issued, yet he was arrested under sections that carry a punishment less than 7 years. Now, the question is, here's a person who wields a tremendous amount of influence, who wields so much influence that the police doesn't arrest him, who wields so much influence that his blood test is not done. We will never know whether he was drunk or not. Leave aside the Pune Porsche case where the blood samples were switched. In this case, they were not even taken. That's how bizarre the police action has been. And the court is asking him, why did you even do this after 4 days? This is a mockery of justice.
The court has cited Arnish Kumar guidelines that the Supreme Court has laid down with respect to bail provisions. And the court has even highlighted the procedural lapses by the police. In fact, in this bail, it is the police that is more answerable. See, you cannot compare this case with that of the Pune Porsche case, because the Pune Porsche case had a death. So it comes under section 106 clause 2, for where the maximum punishment is up till 10 years, and that's a non-bailable offense.
So what are we waiting for? More people should die in Kanpur. People should die in Kanpur for action to be taken.
Under the section,
these brats should drive around in a brash manner with their cars, go around knocking down people. The bouncers can go out and bash them, and then the family will claim that the boy was not even driving the car. What do you want?
Please, let me complete. The section 106 clause 1 is, as compared to the 106 clause 2, is relatively a minor offense. This is where the accused has been able to get a bail. And secondly, 281, as was pointed out rightly by my previous speaker, that the provision itself allows a bail to the accused. Now,
sir, here, all this legalese may be perfectly fine. The point is, we have to seek justice. Because if the legal system is going to work in the favor, and let me bring in Dr. Ragnathan. Dr. Ragnathan, beyond a point, the legal provisions may be there, whatever they are. Is the law in this country so weak? From the police to the courts, what is happening in this particular case? It's beyond shocking.
Madhav, as to your question, is the law in this country weak? It can only be answered if you go by the premise that there exists a law. You will talk of the strength or the weakness of a law if it is being applied. Out here, I have two questions, and more than it being embarrassing to us, I think it would be embarrassing to Yogi Adityanath, because he prides in the fact that if at all something great has happened in the last 10 years, it is the law and order situation that has improved in Uttar Pradesh directly under him. So it's not just that we have to ask this question. He should be asking this question, and two questions. Number one, there are immediate multiple clauses under the BNS where any person accused of rash driving, criminal negligence can be arrested without warrant immediately. Number one, why did it take days to arrest? And number two, is there any video evidence showing that the person who was arrested was the person who was driving the car? I find it unbelievable, Madhav, that till today you have the family saying that our son was not driving the car. You mean to say the police cannot find out who was driving the car? These are the two questions. So please, I can answer your question only if you answer my question. Is there law in this country or not?
That's the point. There is actually CCTV footage. Let me bring in Namit Saxena on that. Namit Saxena, there is CCTV footage which shows that this boy is actually being taken out from the driver's side of the car. There is CCTV footage that shows that the bouncers are actually beating up the people around there or pushing and shoving them around. There's CCTV footage, there is footage that shows that it was parked in the SHO's parking in that parking lot. It is even covered. I've never heard of this kind of treatment as far as, vehicles of accused are concerned. If this is not VVIP treatment, then what is? If this is not VVIP treatment, then what is?
Oh, silly.
Yes, Namit, that's a question for you.
I have to leave now, Utkarsh, because
Your voice cut down, but I'll answer your question. See, what has happened in this case is, the court says that there is violation of Mihir Rajesh Shah and there is violation of Arnesh Kumar and Satyendra Kumar Antil. But you're right, the investigation is completely botched up. Just to add on, see, there's under the MV Act also, they have to get a mechanical inspection report done of the car also. That is also not done. 4 days have passed. In case there was some drug or some alcohol in the bloodstream of the accused boy, that is also gone by now because this is more than 100 hours now. See, the police at this stage should not have, barged upon to arrest or to take custody of the boy. Rather, they should have, taken him into, his interrogation should have been done, an interrogation note should have been prepared, and they should have asked him, they should have confronted him with the CCTV footage and with other evidence which they, which is vital at this moment, which they ought to have collected. It is not only about arresting right now or, or granting someone bail. If you have to book someone, you have to take him to trial and then he has to be convicted by a court. And for that, the burden is on the prosecution to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt. That is what, the family of the accused is doing right now. They are just putting dents in the prosecution's story saying that this was not driven by the boy. This was driven by some guy, some driver called Mohan, who goes himself to the court, says that no, he was not driving it. I was driving it. Take me into custody. The court refuses that, saying that, that you surrender. We will not even accept. So all this is just to put a dent in the prosecution's story.
like a Hindi film.
And, this is completely botched up. The investigation is completely botched up at the moment.
Dr. Nathan.
No, this is like a Hindi film script. I mean, I don't know where the ambiguity is. As I'm sorry, at the risk of repeating myself, number one, how can it take days to arrest? And number two, how can the police in today's day and age not know who was on the driver's seat when the accident happened? I mean, these are beyond me, Madhav. Please explain to me.
Absolutely, that's the question, and that's why there's so much outrage, because, the question, Mr. Jha, that many will ask is that the court was finding fault with what the police is doing, not looking at what the behavior of the accused and their family members are. As Namit Saxena has said, they're clearly trying to put hurdles into the legal process. How can the courts be completely ignorant of that when all of this is widely reported in the media?
We are forgetting one thing. One thing. We are forgetting one thing. See, there is a procedure prescribed under the Act or under the BNSS as to how a person for BNS, for example, what is the maximum punishment? One has to go by whether the offence alleged is bailable or unbailable. His act
Subhash
may be not,
was the SHO in this case sent back to the lines or not? Was the SHO in this case sent back to the lines or not? Answer my question. First answer my question. Was the SHO not sent back to the lines?
I'm only trying to tell you
answer my question first. All the legal architecture and mumbo jumbo is one side. The point is there is wrongs on part of what the police have done. There is wrong on part of what the family members have done, but none of that is even under the scanner or the purview of what the court is doing. Why?
Of course, it should have been done. See, it is so elementary, so fundamental that if somebody is found to have been driving car in such a rash and negligent manner, the first thing which you will do is to take him for medical test to find out whether he was under the influence of drugs, he was under the influence of liquor or something else. It is so fundamental. So for hours together, you allow that evidence, vital evidence which could have been collected. And this happens not only in this case, but my experience for more than four decades in different courts is the same, that vital evidence which is so important and which is required to be collected at the very outset in the beginning. Otherwise, you make that evidence to disappear in thin air over a period of time.
I want to bring in fact,
so that gives advantage to the prosecution to establish the case beyond all reasonable doubt.
No, but that's the whole point. And let me bring in Sanjay Sahai on that note. Sanjay Sahai, where is the prosecution going so wrong? It's not even able to do the basics in terms of actually trying to build up its own case. It's botched up the investigation. It's botched up, its own arguments in court. No, what is the common man to make of this? And if the common man, going by his own lived experience here in India, they'll say, ki, bhai, everything is on sale in this country. The rich and powerful can get away with anything.
Yeah, okay. That impression you can carry. I'll tell you the factual things of this case. And starting with the threshold saying that there is no law in this country, then there is nothing much to debate. But as far as this particular case is concerned, so it is bossed up. There is no denying the fact. But where the prosecution point is that the driver and that driver being on the steering wheel, there is enough and sufficient evidence. There is no denying the fact that medical examination did not happen when it was supposed to happen. But the driver on the driver's seat by CCTV evidence and by circumstantial evidence and by eyewitnesses, that is certainly proven. So that's point number one. Point number two, however much we can be enraged, but the judicial officer will certainly go by the parameters of law. And one side, the four days of arrests have not taken place. On the other side, the judicial officer says that literally he says that there is no need of arrest in this case. That's the second point. Third point, and most intriguing, most dangerous, and most pernicious, is creating alibi and false evidence. And that certainly needs to be added in this case. And people who have done it, father and who are the other people, they also need to become accused, and then the punishment goes to 10 years.
And not just that, Sanjay Sai, let me ask you, the cops who willingly looked away, who did not invoke the correct sections, who did not put in all those parts, and there's a reason, there's obviously wrongdoing on part of the cops, and that's why the SHO was removed from his position. Why isn't it time for a BNS to be, in fact, reformed to even fix criminal culpability and accountability on such errant officers?
See, I'll tell you one thing. Now, this whole criminal liability on the government servants and police officer limited to negligence, gross negligence, and discrepancy and of that nature ending in departmental action, I don't subscribe to that. If there is a criminal liability, suspension is only one part of the story. Additionally, they have to be put in a criminal case if there is tampering of evidence, if there are a variety of other sections which is applicable to nearly anybody and everybody. Till today, no law of this land touches the police officer or a large number of other enforcement agencies and the government official in the manner they touch the
Because,
public.
if the actions and the consequences or the, whether it's an act of omission or commission, the point is that this man is now walked out of this particular case, out of the court.
Commission is criminality. Both are criminality.
So let me bring in Namit on that. Namit, the point is, what needs to happen in such a case? Should there be landmark action on all those who are part of the investigation before and after the SHO's removals or being sent back to lines or whatever it is? The point is that, the entire image, the entire impression going out is that justice is just not being done simply in this case.
See, simply removing means nothing at this stage, because this is only a temporary removal. 10 days later, I'm pretty sure he's going to come back and join duties either here or somewhere else. If he has not done his duty here, he will not do his duty anywhere else. But see, what we have to do is we have to book these people. This evasion of, this evading duty at the right time, at the right moment is very crucial. See, if they don't collect the investigating material and the evidence at this stage, it will be all washed up. Tomorrow there will be no prosecution. This is only an academic exercise thereafter if there is no evidence, because the prosecution has to prove its case beyond reasonable doubt. If they don't have evidence collected at the right time, at the right moment, what will they do? See, right now, this is only about, a bail, which has been granted to the accused at this moment. Tomorrow they'll have to file a charge sheet. They'll have to book the accused by taking him to trial. To prove, in trial, they have to exhibit all these CCTV footages, all this material. They have to give certificates under Section 63 of the Bharatiya Sakshya Adhiniyam, etc. If they are not there, if there is no eyewitness testimony which they have corroborated, which they have recorded at this stage, how will they prove their case? Even assuming, the maximum punishment prescribed at this stage is assuming 2 years or 3 years. But even then it is there. It is a crime. It may be a minor crime in the eyes of few people, but it still is a crime in the society, against the society as well.
Absolutely.
So the state has to do its duty. And if the agents of the state, maybe the IO, maybe the SHO or other police officials, if they're not doing their duty at the right moment, the right stage, this is complete breakdown of law and order, which should be taken at the highest order at this moment. This case should immediately become a landmark case, and an example should be set at the highest level that this cannot be allowed any further. This should be taken right now as well.
Those who have to protect the law, if they don't do their job, Lokesh Jindal, shouldn't this be made a landmark case? That's the question that Namik Saxena, and that's a sentiment that he's echoing, and I think many sensible, intelligent citizens would also have in their minds right now.
Yeah, there are a lot of details that are still pending in the case. Initially, the person, his name was Tawfiq Ahmed, the person who sustained an injury because of that Lamborghini accident. He was reluctant in filing an FIR. Initially, the FIR, it claimed that some unknown person, and later the investigation was carried out. And then there was also, with respect to, a lot of issues, they are unexplained. So over here, I would say the first thing should be a high-level probe. Was there a deliberate attempt on the part of the investigating officer in diluting the case, or was this out of certain forms of limitations? So, a fairness in the investigation and a fairness in the trial is something that is a prerequisite to justice. Now, over here, if we suddenly indulge into some generalization without having all the details present in front of us, now that will also amount to injustice.
What is a generalization without the details? You tell me. The point is the FIR did not have the name of the accused. Later it was added. So the big question is for the police to explain over there. What is the generalization and what is being ignored?
There are assumptions that are being made that the accused was under influence of certain narcotics.
Sir, is it not standard procedure to do so? Forget narcotics.
No,
should a medical test not have been conducted of the accused? You tell me.
The facts that have come up till date was the accused was absconding. He was evading arrest. He was in ambulances. He was changing his locations, and the police took time in getting and nabbing that person.
So what is the police doing for 4 days?
No, what I'm saying over here
the police is standing outside the house, is not allowed inside the residence. What is that?
The police has
the police can't enter a residence to arrest a person, according to you?
No, the police acts on a standard operating procedure. There are certain rules, there are certain provisions within which a procedural law functions. It is not some form of a...
No, please, let me ask the IPS officer on the panel. Mr. Sanjay Sahai, what prevented the police from entering the house of the tycoon?
Nothing prevented the police.
Then?
And the arrest should have been made much earlier. The other part of the story is a bailable offense. Arrest was not warranted. But when you made 5 teams to arrest this person for 2 reasons. One is that he would escape, and second is that he would tamper evidence. So if you are assured of those 2 facts and you have decided to arrest him, then it should not have taken 4 days. And certainly standing outside an accused house, that if that is a fact, that is completely unacceptable.
You got your answer, Lokesh Jindal?
See, that's what I'm saying. So basically, if at all the police has deliberately diluted the case, there should be a departmental inquiry against the hearing officer, and a precedent must be laid down so that such a form of an incident doesn't happen again.
It's interesting that you still say, if at all, despite the overwhelming plethora of evidence of what all has gone wrong in this case. If all this is going to start looking acceptable to us as citizens, what really will happen when it comes to the entire law and justice system in this country is certainly going to come under question. Because if this kind of action is not go unpunished, what is the precedent that we're going to set? Are we going to embolden more such rich, spoiled VVIP brats in the supercars to speed around cars, driving irresponsibly, injuring and possibly even killing citizens who are innocent, just innocent bystanders? Is that going to be acceptable in this country now? That's a question we all have to ask. Leaving it there for the moment, Dr. Anand Rangnathan, Sanjay Sahai, Lokesh Jindal, Subhash Jha, Namit Saxena, thanks so much for joining us this evening.